Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of Product Management with Weekend Filmmakers. I need my glasses to hide my dark circles. Who do you think is giving me the most dark circles? Product management or filmmaking? It's my family. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the episode 2 of Product Management with Weekend Filmmakers. Alright, let's get down to business. Today, we're gonna talk about storyboarding. This is a really fun video, and I really urge you to stay till the end. I promise you'll find this interesting and informative. The video is divided into two parts. First, where we take a scene from a movie and reverse engineer it to understand the meaning of storyboarding and shot design. Second, where we write a scene and storyboard for that, while taking decisions to best convey the message visually. Now, before managing a product, it is important to know the product itself. So we all know that to make a film, we start with a script. But how does a script get converted to a movie? Do we just put up a camera and start shooting? Well, obviously not. There's a lot more that goes into it. We start with a script, convert it into a screenplay, do some storyboarding, location recce, permissions, insurance, stage rehearsal, and a whole lot of shenanigans before we get to lights, camera, action. Now, I'm not gonna bore you to death with excruciating details about each of these steps. At least, not right now. Instead of starting at the beginning with a script, I wanna jump to storyboarding. Storyboarding is one of the overlooked steps in the process of filmmaking, but studying it will help us understand the overall process a lot better. You'll see why as we progress. In this video, we will also talk about different types of shots, the pacing, the edits, and a lot of stuff. If you don't understand any of it in detail, don't worry about it. One thing I have learned through my experience in product management is to be a breadth-first person. Often, as product managers, we do not have the luxury to go in the depth of every topic, but we have to understand the general idea, know what is required, and keep moving. I will cover anything that is required for our project in enough detail to build the concept, and if you find something lacking, do let me know in the comments. So, we are skipping two steps, that is script and screenplay, and jumping right into storyboarding. But we are not exactly skipping those steps, but rather minimizing them. Because a storyboard cannot exist without a script. Let me start with an example and it will all make sense in a minute. I am taking a classic Bollywood film, Jab We Met, and using a scene from that as an example to talk about the principles. If you haven't watched that film, please watch it. It is an amazing movie and I can promise you're gonna love it. If not the movie, I definitely recommend watching the YouTube clip from the film that we are analyzing. The link is in the description. So, if you have watched the film, you probably remember the train scene where our two lead characters meet for the first time. Shahid Kapoor's character Aditya is depressed about some stuff, while Kareena Kapoor's character Geet is simply a happy-go-lucky girl who is traveling home in a train. And she is a yapper. So, script-wise, the scene is simple. Aditya, lost in his own thoughts, has found escape in an empty train compartment where he is sitting on the side lower berth. He is lost in his own thoughts. Then Geet walks in and tells him that it is her seat. He switches to the seat in front and Geet starts yapping. Aditya, in no mood to listen to any of this, gets up and leaves. Simple, right? That's our script. But well, how do you shoot this simple scene? Now pay attention. In general, a scene starts with an establishing shot. The establishing shot gives the audience an idea of what the location is, the mood, and where are the characters placed with respect to it. So here's our establishing shot. An empty compartment with only our lead characters interacting in it. It shows where the two are placed and how. We go a little closer to show the initial state of Aditya through this shot where he has cocooned himself in a small space. Notice how he is looking towards the closed wall as he has created a comforting space for himself to be left alone. Geet tries to talk to him but he does not respond. showing that he is too deep in his thoughts to care about what is happening around him. After a quick interaction, he acknowledges her, or rather, she makes him acknowledge her, and he switches his seat. So, our initial setup is now established. Then we start jumping into closer shots as we now want to get to the personal conversations and character details. Now, an important product management lesson in filmmaking: at this point, don't question the script. Once the script is logged, it is logged. We have released a feature with all the required sign-offs and we have to build on top of it. A little agility is fine, but we need to keep moving forward towards the KPIs of our current KRA, which is to develop the storyboard. So, in this scene, first the writer decided to establish the Yap Queen. The idea is that she does not stop talking and does not give a damn about the world. Now, without questioning the script, see how beautifully the DOP or the cinematographer achieves it. Here's the first shot. You see how it is a bottom-up shot? It could have been a shot parallel to ground, but no. The shot choice is intentional. We don't want to show the rest of the bogie or the people in the background. We want to focus only on Geet. And this shot achieves that. See how the rest of the environment is cut off simply by making one shot choice? But now we want to show that once she starts talking, she does not really care about anything else. She will go on and on. How do we achieve this visually? So once she has yapped for some time, then we show a more inclusive wide shot, which has depth and vague characters too. The purpose being, she is the center of the world, and she'll continue talking regardless of what goes around. You see what I mean? As we switch from a close-up shot to a wider shot, her energy remains unchanged. She's still continuing in the same tone, same pace, same topic. So we match the pacing of her conversation through quick cuts and a wide variety of shots. But the character itself remains constant. This is important to show that whether Aditya is listening to her or not is pretty much irrelevant to her. And we switch to her final shot where she is directly looking at him and still unfazed by the lack of interest from him. She just wants to talk. Now that we have established Geet, it is time to establish Aditya for the scene. So we want to show that he is not really interested in what's happening here and he just wants to be left alone. How do we do that? Now here I want to talk about the pacing of a scene. Geet is a fast talker, so quick cuts and shots from multiple angles worked for her. But we cannot do the same for Aditya. His pacing, his state of mind is super slow. If it was only him and say I wanted to move from a wider shot like our establishing shot to a close-up, I would have done it through slow movements like dolly in instead of cuts. But the problem is that Geet's voice is still in the voiceover of the scene. So we have a conflict of a high-paced voiceover and a low-paced mood of the character. Let's see how it is beautifully complemented by the visuals. So, to match with the pacing of Geet's voiceover, we still have quick cuts. But to match the mood of Aditya, the shot design pretty much remains the same. You see how little the shot is changing? This, to me, is pure genius. Quick cuts, but consistent shot design. Whereas for Geet, it was quick cuts with a wide range of shot designs. But wait, there's more. Are these three shots just some random shots? No. They're building to the next piece that the story wants to convey. That Aditya is no longer comfortable in the cocoon that he had created and that he wants to leave. See how instead of living in the closed space, the shot progression slowly opens up the space for him to move out. I mean, look at this shot from earlier. He had nowhere to go because he didn't want to go anywhere, perfectly capturing the emotional state of the character. And now look at this shot progression here. We start with a closed space and slowly open it up as even his face turns around to that direction. Because that direction is more lucrative now. And that is where he gives her a look and decides to leave. Because that seat is not comfortable anymore. It is only when he leaves that Geet even notices him. She looks at him confused to understand why he is leaving, but eventually tells herself that he must be a weird one, and she goes back to being the center of the world again. You see how beautifully the visuals complemented what the script was trying to convey? This is crucial to telling a story through a visual medium. It's a saying in movie business, don't tell me, show me. But experts take it to another level, where they don't just show you, they make you feel it. This is also complemented through the use of colors, costume design, depth of focus, background music, and so many other tools. But for now, let's stick to the shot design and storyboarding. Because the first step of planning such visuals is storyboarding. Now we will try to tell a story of our own, and I'll tell you how I would storyboard for it. So let's say we have a simple script where we have two spies, say Tiger and Zoya, from India and Pakistan respectively. They are in love and they are supposed to meet at a cafe to discuss something. If you're a Bollywood person, you would understand the reference of those names. But if you don't, it's fine. It's not relevant. So Tiger is already at the cafe and then Zoya arrives. Zoya tells her about some latest developments between the two countries. Tiger realizes that this means that they both will have to be on the opposite sides of their next mission. He cannot ask Zoya to join his mission, and he cannot join Zoya either. Zoya offers that we do not participate at all, but Tiger chooses duty over love and tells her that they need to go their separate ways. Zoya gets disappointed and leaves. Okay? So, just to recap, Tiger is waiting, Zoya comes, she gives the update, Tiger decides that they need to separate. He tells this to Zoya and she leaves. This is our script. Simple? Now, how would I storyboard this? And keep in mind that we are trying to communicate to our viewers through the visuals to complement the narrative. So, I start with envisioning the first shot. Let's say this is the setup. So on the storyboard, the drawing would look something like this. So we have Tiger sitting alone. This would be our establishing shot. Remember we talked about the establishing shot? Now you can see this is a very symmetric shot, and Tiger being present on one chair kinda ruins that symmetry. It almost creates an anticipation in the audience that someone needs to come and fill the empty chair for the visual to look complete. This is similar to what Tiger is feeling as he is waiting for Zoya. This is how we simulate the feelings of our main character into our audience. You know, he is waiting and now so is the audience because of this asymmetry. So we had a similar shot in the Jab We Met example too. If you look at it, the initial shot was very symmetric with Aditya only on one side. But we did not spend too much time with it. You know why? Because Aditya was not waiting for her. So the cinematographer did not want to take time with that asymmetry. This is why, if you look at the video closely, we have a pre-establishing shot showing Geet come in with other characters before getting to the two. But moving on to our example. Now I want to show Zoya walk in. So I can just have her walk in and sit down. But I want to add some more elements to it. First of all, recognize that we have the luxury of taking our time because we are simulating waiting for someone. So I started to think, which direction will Zoya come in from? Well, she's a spy. She sneaks up on people. So I make a conscious decision that she would walk in from the right, from behind Tiger. And I want to emphasize on this point that she wouldn't do what is normally done. I want to establish her as different. So, since we have the luxury of time, I would show maybe a couple of waiters passing by from left to right. See how Tiger is unfazed as he is observing anyone passing by from afar. I mean, when these waiters were coming, Tiger must have noticed them from a distance. But this is too much personality for extra characters. I don't want the audience to get lost in them. This is supposed to be just metadata. So I would change the shot design to something like this. You see, serves the purpose with minimal personality in the metadata. Right? Okay. So now that we have established normal people around the cafe, time for Zoya to enter. She enters from the right, and see how Tiger slightly acknowledges her presence a little differently. So this becomes my next shot in the storyboard. I hope you are with me so far. Now, I may style the characters differently, so I may relook at what I have done so far and change the attire if I feel the need to. Totally not required in the storyboarding stage, but we are doing it just because. Now we want to move to a medium close-up shot to eliminate the surroundings and focus on the two characters. But remember how I talked about the pacing of a scene? Now this time we know this is a slow conversation where the two characters are involved and are going to be impacted deeply. So I don't want to flood this conversation with a lot of individual shots. So contrary to what we saw in the Jab We Met example earlier, here I would use a dolly in to go from our establishing shot to a medium close-up. You see how we get more involved in them, ignoring what is going on around and focusing on the characters and their conversation. Now the speed of dolly in also has an impact, but we'll park that for later. So we reach the point where we now have the context of the conversation. Now I want to show Tiger's conflict. See, as he hears from Zoya, in his head, he knows that this means they need to go their separate ways. But this cannot be easy for him, right? So here I would have Zoya complete what she's saying as a voiceover, but visually I would foreshadow what Tiger is about to say next. Basically him realizing the uncomfortable choice he has to make and getting ready to tell her. This is where the actor gets the chance to shine. Now, as Tiger starts speaking, our audience knows he is going to say something uncomfortable because of his expressions earlier. Zoya must have seen it too. She was hoping that Tiger and her will figure out a way around all of this problem, but Tiger says that they have to go their separate ways. So now I want to focus on Zoya's expressions and how they change. So again, with Tiger's voiceover, I visually show the change in Zoya's expressions to show what Tiger's words are doing to her. This is where actors get the room to do a lot with their expressions. This is a heavy scene for actors because the camera is not on them while they're doing something, but rather when they are reacting to something. Always a fun space as an actor. So now Tiger has told the decision, Zoya is upset by it, and we go back to the wider shot and show Zoya leaving. We show how Tiger is watching her leave from this POV shot and cut to a close-up to show how he feels bad about it. And then we go back to the wide shot again. Again, there is an asymmetry, but this time it is not in anticipation. It is the absence. Tiger is feeling uncomfortable because Zoya is gone. And that's the discomfort we simulate in the audience through the asymmetry. Same shot, but the feeling changes because of the context. But this end was a little vanilla for me. Zoya's leaving needs to be more impactful. So I relook at my frames and I feel this shot is the problem. You see, while artistically this is a good shot, for our premise, it is not saying much. I want Zoya's leaving to be much more impactful. I want to show that while Tiger made the decision to let her go, it's not what he wanted. He had to choose duty over love. But that doesn't mean it was easy, right? That is how you emphasize how important duty is to Tiger. So, let's take this frame and let's go to the movie mode. So I enhance this picture and see what else we can do with this. So we add some shading, we add colors, light, and here we are. This is how the final look would probably look like, right? See, this to me is just boring. I mean, there's a lot happening, but not in line with the story I am trying to tell. So let's change this, okay? Well, here's my option 1. Play with the lighting. You see how it is immediately a gloomy shot? Her going away is already making me sad. This, coupled with the right background music, I can really simulate some feelings in my audience. Imagine this shot after such departure of Zoya. The same shot says more now because it is enriched by the context from the previous shot. Right? Here's another option, option 2. Play with the depth of focus. To me, this shot says that Tiger wants her in that chair. The empty chair bothers him so much that he is fixated on that as she disappears out of focus in the background as she leaves. Again, a strong, impactful shot to show where he wants her, but she is leaving. Now let's say for some reason we cannot choose from these two shots. Say we don't have the budget to control the light or the skill to pull off the camera trick. I have a third option for you, which is the absence of Zoya in his sights. So option 3, we show Zoya leave very quickly and let the shot linger on the empty path. To me, this simulates the feeling that she was just here, Where did she go? I mean, Tiger may have made a quick and right decision, but he still longs to see her. But he cannot anymore. And that is hitting him that she's gone. Imagine switching to this shot after lingering on the empty path for a few seconds. Again, says a lot. Or, I even have a fourth option, where Zoya doesn't leave quickly, but as she's leaving, she turns around and you see her pain too. This is the emotional pull. It kinda doubles the pain. The two characters pulling away from each other because their duty comes first, but they don't want to. Tiger did his part by stating the decision, and Zoya is doing her part by walking away. But none of them is truly happy. And once again, switching to this shot makes it very impactful because you read more in those longing eyes now. A lot of the times, if you have simulated the correct emotions in the audience, they fill some gaps for you by projecting what they're feeling. So which one would you choose? Option 1, play with the lights. Option 2, play with the depth of focus. Option 3, create the impact of her absence. Or option 4, the emotional pulling apart of two hearts. I'll tell you my preference and the reason for it in the next episode, where we talk about the delivery plan of the movie we want to make. If you have any questions, feedback or criticism, please leave it in the comments. I look forward to it. Stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one.